All right. Hey, everybody. It's Chris. Welcome to the Podcast Engineering Show. I'm a little under the weather, but this is one of our Daily Goody episodes. So I'm going to recap a bunch of the very small Daily Goody blog posts that I put out every single day on the website, podcastengineeringschool.com. And for those of you who are listening for the first time, maybe I met you at Podcast Movement last week. Welcome. Happy you're here. And of course, if you ever have any questions, feel free to contact me through the website. And also, the daily goodies, you can receive them in your email either every day or a weekly roundup email. So, again, on the sidebar of the website, you can sign up for that. Thank you to everyone who comments on the daily goodie posts. It's a lot of fun. I appreciate every single one of you. Really, thank you. And I also wanted to let you know about the International Podcast Association. This is a new organization that I'm actually helping to create, and it has a big vision. It's a worldwide, obviously, International Podcast Association, and we would love to hear your voice and your feedback. So if you could take a short survey, the link is in the description. It's a very short survey, and the association is going to serve podcasters and the podcast industry. And it's going to include a lot. But anyway, if you could really give your feedback, that would be really, really helpful. So thank you for that. And of course, if you know anyone who wants to learn more about the technical production of podcasts, please share this show with them. And maybe even tell them about Podcast Engineering School. The next semester starts September 10th. And, I think the price is still on the super early bird price, but it's going to go up soon. Anyway, let's get into these daily goodies. Today's episode might be a little quick because I'm actually not feeling very well, and we just tried to do a Podcasters Lounge live stream, and it didn't go well, and I sort of threw in the towel after about 20 minutes. Yeah, live streaming is not always easy. When you have a simple setup, it's not too bad, but if you start to incorporate other people and I try to do a lot all on my one machine. And so anyway, let's get to the daily goodies. We're going to recap about 10 of them, 10 or 12 of them right now, really quickly. Of course, if you want to read more about any of these, just go to the website and yeah. All right. So the first one from June 21st is the Friday audio trivia. Oh, geez. All right. What frequency range can human beings hear? Well, I numbered them, but I should have lettered them. All right. A, 0 to 25,000 hertz. B, 100 hertz to 30,000 hertz. C, 20 hertz to 20,000 kilohertz. 20,000 hertz. And number 4, 250 hertz to 60,000 hertz. And of course, the answer is C, 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. That's what the average human can hear. And actually, one of the posts that we're going to talk about in a second talks about how that kind of changes as you get older. All right, the next daily goodie is chapters in episodes. Some software and some players, they'll let you add software, the encoding software, lets you add chapter markers to podcast episodes. And I know a lot of people do this to, they want to give the listener the ability to, maybe they put 10 chapters in an episode and the listener can just skip to a certain chapter if it's about a subject they really want to hear about, and maybe they don't want to hear about the other chapters. I don't really listen. I don't skip around chapters. In fact, I don't think any of the shows I listen to do chapters. But anyway, and I don't think many people put chapters in their episodes, but it is possible. And I think conceptually, I think it's a great idea to allow people to click around. But really, for instance, for my show, it's just my normal episodes, which are every other week. Oh, I forgot to mention that in the intro. Every other week, I do a much longer episode interview with an individual, and these daily goodie episodes are just little in-between episodes. But anyway, in my normal episodes, I don't need to put in chapter. I guess I could put in a few, I mean, the only thing I do an interview. So it's like, I don't know. How are you going to... Anyway, I don't do chapters, but there's a bunch of apps that let you put in chapter markers. And of course, you can name each chapter differently. And I think each chapter can have its own image. It's kind of cool. So here are some apps you can use to create chapter markers. Auphonic.com, Forecast, which is for Mac only, Ferrite, which is iOS, and Mike Thomas in the comments says with Fission, you can also put in chapters, and Fission is from Rogue Amoeba, and Larry Barr says Hindenburg also supports chapters. So, and then Max Flight had a really good comment. He said, note that the current version of ID3 Editor does not support chapters. So ID3 Editor is actually a tagging app that I use quite a bit. And he says it does not support chapters. So if you create chapters in a different application and then tag the file in the ID3 editor, you will lose all your chapters. So anyway, be careful if you're going to, I mean, it's not hard, but just, make sure you just encode your chapters and do it right. Okay, next one, sharing DAW files with clients. So some clients, like if you're a podcast editor, some clients might want the raw or the working DAW files that you use to produce their episodes. And there's actually an interesting Facebook post with varied comments on this question. There's a link to the Facebook post in the Daily Goody post. But some people were saying, "Oh, I don't give the raw DAW files to my client. I just give them the final audio, the final mix of the audio." But the problem is some clients may ask you, "Oh, can we have all the raw files too, all the working files too?" I don't know. In general, and I'm sorry, I'm a little phlegmy and sick, so sorry about everything on this quick episode, but I've never had a client ask me for those files, and I wouldn't mind sharing them, but here's the thing with the way I produce podcasts. I use so many plugins that the client will not have that it's almost useless for them to have my DAW files because it won't they won't be able to recreate what I did. So that's if they ever ask me, that's what I would tell them. All right, the next Daily Goody. Oh, little self-promotion. This fall 2019 semester of Podcast Engineering School. Anyway, like I said, classes start on September 10th. Let's move on. The next Daily Goody is aging and hearing high frequencies. So yeah, basically, as you age, you hear less and less high frequencies. In fact, I just saw this video on YouTube that played tones. So they started at let's say 7 kilohertz, and they played a 7K tone, then an 8K tone, then a 9K tone, and they kept going up. And at some point, I think it might have been around 15 or 16K where I just stopped hearing it. Now, that doesn't mean that I mean, it's a little strange when you do a test like that because you still hear it, but you might hear less of it. But also, as you lose some high frequencies in your hearing as you get older, you sort of get used to that. So I've had people ask me, "Oh, if I'm producing shows, but I have some hearing loss, some slight hearing loss, can I still produce audio?" And the answer is yes. Because, as long as you keep at it and keep, referencing good mixes and good audio, you can make your audio sound like that good audio, and then you'll be producing good audio. So anyway, all right. So next one, handheld microphones. All right. Well, this is kind of basic. It's they're microphones you can hold in your hand, and but they don't have to be used while being held. You can certainly mount them on a stand and all that. Of course, the classic is the Shure SM58, and now the classic podcasting microphones, the ATR 2100 USB and the Samson Q2U. Those are all considered handheld mics. It's just the general shape and size of the mic. That's what that's what we refer to as handheld mics. So, all right, next Daily Goody is about the Podcasters Lounge, which, oh God, it's so sad the stream we tried to do, it didn't work out. But anyway, Podcasters Lounge happens every Wednesday evening. You can find that on the website too. Next Daily Goody, Moving your microphone while recording. Moving your microphone while recording. Okay, so here's the thing. If you watch, for instance, Joe Rogan on YouTube, watch one of his, podcast recording sessions, which he also records video on, and then he puts it on YouTube with the video, but then he puts the audio through his podcast. If you watch him, he moves his microphone a lot. Like, he'll be talking, and then he'll lean back in his chair, and he'll swivel his microphone closer to his face. And then if he moves up again, he'll push the mic away and all that. Some people love to just move their mic around. And here's the thing. It's not a big deal. If you have a good boom arm, which is nice and smooth, it doesn't make any noise, then you can move your mic around. It's not a problem. For novices and people who don't know anything, like especially guests on shows, I just always tell guests, don't move the mic. Like, just set it up, get close to it, and don't move the mic. That's it. Because, people don't know how to move the mic. And the fact is, most people move the mic out of nervousness. And they want to fidget. So anyway, you got to be careful when you're moving your mic, because what you don't want to do is introduce a bunch of other noises, like either squeaking from the boom arm or even just, handling the mic. You might get some thuds. You just got to be careful. So if you're going to move your mic, a lot while you're recording, just make sure you test it, do some sound checks, and make sure that, your little nervous habit isn't making your audio sound bad. Oh, excuse me. All right. Next Daily Goodie is another Friday audio trivia. Okay, true or false? If you adjust the level of two tracks, for instance, a host and a guest, so that their peak levels are the same, this will ensure that the two tracks will be the same perceived loudness when mixed. So the question is, if you adjust two separate tracks so that their peak levels are the same, will that ensures that the two tracks will be the same loudness, perceived loudness? And the answer is false. Because the peak level is one thing, but the perceived loudness level, which is the LUFS, that's a different thing. Because you can have someone who's speaking very consistently at the same level the entire time, and they might never get loud and peak very high, right? But then the other person might scream loud and peak, but then talk really softly at other times. And so their average level is less than the other person who's speaking very uniformly, right? So peak level and loudness level are not the same thing. Next one is Saturn plugin from FabFilter. Okay, so FabFilter makes awesome plugins, and they have a plugin called Saturn, which is a saturation plugin. You can add tube saturation or tape saturation, and I've been using the clean tube saturation preset just a little bit on a lot of the voices I've been mixing. It's really good. I mean, it's subtle, but I like using a little bit of it. It just adds a little bit of saturation. I've talked about saturation before. So if you want to look at what saturation is, just go to the website, podcastengineeringschool.com, and you can search for saturation, and you'll see a bunch of the daily goodies I've done on saturation. It's definitely not a process you have to do. It's not like EQ or compression, which I pretty much do on every voice ever. Saturation is it's something I like to do because it makes it more, it makes it more smooth and warm, sort of, but you don't have to do it. All right, next daily goodie, Clean Feed. Have you heard of Clean Feed? It's a VoIP recording service similar to Zencastr and Squadcast, and Mark Backus, one of the owners, has been on this show before, and it's a really good service. They apparently use a really high quality codec, so the audio going over the internet is very high quality. There is one distinct difference that we all need to know about, is that, for instance, I mentioned Zencastr and Squadcast. They actually record everyone's audio locally, like on each person's machine. Clean Feed does not do that. Clean Feed brings everyone's audio over the internet and then records it on the host's computer. So that means that they're still susceptible to internet glitching, which apparently, because of their codec, it rarely happens. But of course, everyone who's used Clean Feed, it does happen from time to time. Of course, if you have a strong internet connection, it pretty much won't happen. So, yeah, but Clean Feed, good guys, good company, good service. If you haven't tried it and you want to just play around and try it, that'd be good. Okay, next Daily Goody. What is mic technique and why is it so important? And so for the answer and a chuckle, you can check out my video that I did 6 years ago when I had a beard. So if you go to the Daily Goody blog post, the video is embedded. You can click on it. The video is called Proper Microphone Technique, and it's on my Fractal Recording YouTube channel. Anyway, it kind of goes over microphone technique, and it's actually, of any videos I put on the internet, that one has the most views by far. It's not much. I think it's like 18,000 or something. But all my other videos are 12 people, 23 people, all that. All right, next Daily Goody. Removing a headset's close mic breath noise with RX-7 D-Wind. Okay, I'll read it again. Removing a headset's close mic breath noises with RX-7 D-Wind. Okay, so when someone has a headset, and a headset is different than earbuds. This is one of my pet peeves. Everybody calls, when they mean earbuds, they say headset. That's not a headset, that's earbuds. Although now companies are saying that too, so now everyone's confused. What I'm talking about is the old-fashioned headset like someone would wear in a call center. Headphones with a little boom arm coming off of one ear with a microphone that goes right in front of your mouth. That's a headset, okay? Now, sometimes when you record with a headset, the person, you'll hear wind from their voice, or it's like mild plosives or like the air swooshing by, and it's just some weird noises you can get. So anyway, at times that I've had that on guests, I've actually tried the D-Wind module in Isotope RX-7, and it actually worked really well a few times. Now, it doesn't always work well. Again, it depends on the use case, but in some cases when I use the D-Wind, it really gets rid of that little breathy wind noise. Again, it's not quite plosives, but it's just kind of like air noise. It's hard to explain, but I hope you understand what I mean. And if you have RX, you could just try that with the D-Wind. Okay, and the last one, editing celebrities' audio. Okay, so Carrie Caulfield Eric had a post on Facebook. She said she was editing like a celebrity, and she asked the group, hey, if you're ever editing a celebrity, do you have a different approach? Or do you edit the celebrity the same way you edit every other person? And anyway, the link to the post is here, and you can see everyone's comments. But my take is that I've had to edit audio for celebrities before, and I don't do anything special. I just edit it like anyone else. If they're terrible and they're stammering and with a lot of ums and ahs and everything, yeah, you clean it up. And some celebrities are really good. They speak very smoothly. You don't have to edit them at all, right? So, all right. Well, that's it for the Daily Goody episode next week. Barry Gary is next week. Yeah. Seriously, mark your calendars. Barry Gary. So anyway, thank you for listening. Again, if you ever have any questions about podcast production, send me a note through the website or on social media or something. I'm here to help. I hope you enjoy the show. And that's it. My voice is going and I need to go to sleep. So thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.